Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, class. So today, kumuha tayo ng onting time out of or outside our schedule. Pero hindi naman to required. So, carry lang kung hindi kayo maten. Basically, didiscuss ko lang yung results, solutions ng first exam for the 30 minutes. Okay? Okay. So, let's start. So, a ball in a tube within two sheets. So, A, draw the system. Mostly naman nakakuha niyo naman to. Madali lang naman, di ba? Drawing nyo lang na merong spherical shell inside a cylindrical tube inside two infinite sheets. Okay? Yan. So, yung drawing ko. So, pwede nyo computerize yung gawa nyo, no? Okay lang din. Mas madali. And no worries lang din kung drawing lang yung kamay. Okay, kung saan kayo komportable. Alright. So, ayan. Meron kang dalawang sheet, meron kang cylinder, tapos meron kang spherical shell sa loob. Okay, letter B. Suppose only one shape exists at a time. Find the electric field due to the sphere, tube, and the sheets. Both sheets coexist at same shape. Okay. So basically, Gauss's law, individual Gauss's law mo lang siya. Okay? Okay, so sa E-sphere, very straightforward na. Inside the sphere, 0. Outside, that would be 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Tapos, total charge over r squared. Okay, negative dahil negative daw yung charge distribution ng infinite sheets sa kaliwa. And then, infinite sheets sa kaliwa. Sheets na sabi ko. And then, spherical shell. Negatively charged sila. Okay? Okay. Marami naman nakakuha mula hanggang dito sa part. Okay, cylinder. Okay, this is easy. Gagawin mo lang din yung total charge enclosed, tapos over epsilon naught, over yung cylinder, of course, yung Gaussian surface mo, which is 1 over 2 pi SL. And then 0 inside. Okay? Alright. Okay, hindi ko pala na-describe, no? So, dapat may description kayo pag kuwari ganito. Gumamit kayo ng R, S. Sabihin nyo na yung R is your usual R in the spherical coordinate system. S is your usual radial component in the cylindrical system, coordinate system. Okay? So, sabihin nyo. Hindi ko lang nalagay. Alright. And then, for the planes, 0 outside of X. Bale, absolute value of X. Ibig sabihin, for all, bale, both sides na yun. Dito at dito. Okay? So make smart use of your absolute value. Tapos inside, that would be, di ba, sigma over 2 epsilon naught yung kada contribution ng isang sheet. So i-add mo lang yun. Makuha mo yung dalawa, times 2 lang. Nag-cancel lang yung 2. Okay, dali, di ba? So yan. Marami naman nakakuha dito. Next, find the electric field at any point in the z-axis. Basically, titingnan mo kung ano yung electric field na nararamdaman ni z-axis. That means, tatanggalin mo si x and y. So, zero out mo sila. Okay. Now, medyo somewhat confusing lang kasi naka-express ka dito in terms of radial component. Pero kung i-imaginein mo naman, madali lang siya ma-imagine. Okay, pwede, pero hindi ko kayo mamaliin kung ang gamit nyo pa rin ay R. Pwede pa rin. Okay, nakalagay dito. Using R hat as directions is acceptable. Okay? Okay, so find the electric field at any point in the z-axis. So in the z-axis, Ito yun. So, walang contribution agad si cylinder mo. Titignan mo na lang will be yung contribution ng plane at yung contribution ng sphere. Okay, inside the sphere, walang contribution ng sphere. So, ang contribution lang inside the sphere, bali Z less than C, that would be your planes. Okay? So, lagay mo lang dyan. Exact. Kasi ayun yung direction plane. Next. For Z greater than C, magkakaroon na ng effect yung sa sphere. Okay? So, i-add mo yung sa plane, then yung sa sphere. Okay? Ito yung sa sphere. C squared over R squared. C squared over R squared C. Sir, bakit may tong SGN? So, ang SGN ay sine of Z. Okay, bakit? Kasi tingnan nyo di ba radial yung component ng electric field ng radial yung component ng electric field ng sphere. Kaso, downward yan kasi negative siya. Okay? So, at this point, above the xy plane, downward yung electric field mo. Below the xy plane, upward yung electric field mo. Okay? So, kapag tinignan nyo dito, kaya ako nilagyan ng sign of Z. Pero again, pwede nyo gawin to ng walang sign of Z. Pero gagawin nyo na sigma C squared over epsilon naught J squared R hat. Okay, pwede. Okay lang yan. Sige, tanggapin ko. Para ginamit nyo to as is. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito is, kokopyahin nyo lang kung anong sign ng Z. Okay? So, if it's above the xy plane, that would mean this is just a positive sign and mariretain yung downward na direction. Okay? And if this is below the xy plane, magiging negative to. So, negative times negative, positive na siya. Upwards dapat siya. As expected. Okay? Upward dapat yung electric field dito. Alright. So, ganun lang, no? Uulitin mo lang siya sa y and uulitin mo siya sa x. So, padagdag lang ng padagdag yan. Okay. Sa y-axis naman, tingnan natin. Y-axis would be the green line. So, ano yung mga makaka-apekto sa kanya? Makaka-apekto sa kanya so for all the boundaries, for all the regions, pare-parehas lang effect ng pare-parehas lang effect ng sheets. Okay? So, ang makaka-apekto na lang would be the contribution of the sphere and the contribution of the cylinder. Okay? Okay. So, for those points that are inside the sphere, of course, the contribution, ang matitira lang would be the plane. Okay? Kasi walang contribution yung cylinder at sphere kasi nasa loob ka ng sphere. Okay? Next, the region between the sphere and the cylinder. So, magiging dagdag mo dito would be your electric field for the sphere. Okay? So, C squared over R squared ulit. C squared over Y squared na. Okay? So, syempre, pag ginamit nyo yung R hat na direction, kailangan R pa rin itong okay? R pa rin itong dito sa baba. Kasi, di ba, define naman yung R squared natin as X squared plus Y squared plus Z squared. Okay? So, since ganito naman, defined naman to dito na X0 and Z0, Y squared na naman titira dito. So, okay lang din naman i-plug in yung R squared. No worries. Okay? So, yan. Pinactor out ko lang para mas maganda lang tingnan. And then, syempre, outside the cylinder, magkakaroon na ng effect yung cylinder. So, that would be given by this. Okay? So, check natin. B over X. So, B over Y. Alright. Okay. Okay. Okay lang din kung hindi kayo gumamit ng hindi kayo gumamit ng absolute value. Pero that would mean magiging doble lahat yung kailangan nyo gawin. So, hassle pa, di ba? Okay. Next, the electric field at any point in the x-axis. Okay, sa x-axis, dito sa red, merong marami kang boundaries na regions na mako-consider. So that will be inside the sphere, between the cylinder and the sphere, between the cylinder and the plane, and outside the plane. Okay? Okay. So again, inside the sphere, ang mabubuhay lang would be the contribution from the plane. Then between the tawag dito. Oops, nakalimutan ko lagyan ng sign of x dito. So dapat may sign of x dyan. Edit ko mamaya. So between the sphere and the cylinder, magkakaroon na ng contribution yun sa sphere. Okay? So dapat may sign of x pa dyan. And then between the cylinder and the plane, magkakaroon ng contribution yung plane. Tapos, outside the plane, mawawalan ng contribution si plane, di ba? Kasi outside, mawawalan na siya ng contribution. So, from here, tatanggalin mo lang yung this guy, which is this guy, which is wala na siya. Okay. Dali, di ba? Okay, number 2, charge imprisonment. So, assemble 8 charges, Q, so that they will form a cube with charges in its vertices. Okay. Let the length of each side be A. Okay, so ito. So ito yung pwede niyo siyang lagay sa kung saan man yung trick niyo. Pwede niyo rin lagay yung center sa loob sa center ng coordinate system. Gusto ko lang kayo mag-drawing lang kayo para may points. Okay. 2.5 points. Okay, how much work does it take to build such configuration? Napakadali nito kasi di ba meron sa example sa libro. Okay? So, susundan nyo lang yun. And you'll find out that the answer is this guy. Okay? Actually, meron pang example sa libro ata na sinolve yung pa-square. Okay? 4 charges pa lang. So, pwede nyo, kung nakita nyo yun, or problem ata yun sa libro, kung nakita nyo yun, pwede nyo nang pagbasihan yun, tapos dadagdagan nyo na lang na 4 pa na charges. Diba? Okay, potential at the center of this cube. So 8 times the potential due to each charge. Okay? So 8 times lang yun. So this guy. Kasi 8 charges. What is the electric field at the center of this cube? 0. Kasi this is constant. Kunin mo yung derivative, 0. Okay? Pero pwede mo rin isipin na radially lahat ng electric field nitong mga to. Okay? Radial lahat yung mga yan. So, ang mangyayari, magsasalubong sila lahat sa center. And since pare-pare sila ng magnitude, they would cancel out. So what happens to a test charge if it is placed at the center of the cube? Okay, so yung test charge mo magiging mapupwesto siya sa configuration wherein there is an unstable equilibrium. Okay? Kasi mataas yung potential mo, tapos may potential ka, tapos electric field mo is 0. If a night charge is placed at the center, madidisrupt niya yung shape ng yung flow ng electric field, kukontrahin siya ng lahat ng mga charges mo. So ang mangyayari sa kanya, may eject siya. Okay. Number 3. Conductor joy. Okay. Kinder Joy talaga to. Kasi mayroon kang solid sphere tapos may mga butas sa loob. Okay? So, hollowed out smaller spheres at centers. Nasa ano sila, no? Nasa yung mga center nila nasa x and y axis. Okay? So, at x equals a, x equals negative a, then y is equal to a, and y is equal to negative a. Okay? All with radius p. So, inside inside sa mga hollow spheres na ito, merong charges sa qx, which is nasa center din ng hollow spheres and qy. Okay, so what is the field outside the conducting sphere? Basically, mag-i-induce tong mga charges mo, tong qx and qy, i-influence na lang yung conductor mo, and that conductor would look like a solid sphere outside. Okay, solid sphere with total charge kung ilan man yung charges sa loob niya. Okay? So, total charge mo, kung ilan lang nasa loob niya, so 2qx, and 2qy. And then, para siyang sphere lang din. Okay? Charan. Okay, what are the fields inside the hollow spheres? So, the fields inside the hollow spheres would, of course, look like a field of a point charge. Okay? You just have to define your r hat and your r. Okay? So where x plus minus and y plus minus denotes the charge in points plus or minus a. So yung rx plus and rx minus and consequently denotes the radial distance from points a plus a minus a. Okay? So kuwari have a coordinate system x, y, tapos nandito so yung yung charge mo ayan, yung blue. Lagyan natin qx. So yung r r plus. Okay, rx plus. Ito, rx plus. Okay? So ganyan ko siya dinefine. So dapat meron kayo makikita ko yan dapat sa sa word. So this is r minus. All right. And same thing for the charges in the y-axis. So what is the force on qx and qy? 0. Bakit? Gawin natin. Meron kang kuwari nakatingin tayo sa x-axis. Yes. Kuwari ito ay x-axis. Tapos meron kang charge qx, qy, or qx na lang din. Okay, so may this is of course inside the conductor to, di ba? Inside the conductor. What is the electric field inside the conductor? E is equal to 0. Okay? Ibig sabihin nung electric field na equal to 0 here, ang nangyayari, minumute out niya yung effect ng mga fields na to. Okay? So no matter how strong this is, electric field mo pa rin is equal to 0 inside the conductor. So hindi makapag-communicate si QX and si QY. So hindi makapag-communicate yung mga charges sa loob. Okay? Alright. Dali, di ba? So nasa libro din to, pinahirapan ko lang yung Ginawa kong 4. Parang 2 lang ata yun sa libro. 2 hollow spheres. Okay? So method of images, nasa libro din to. Okay? Basically, you want ay gagawin mo yung method of images for meron kang semi-infinite grounding planes. So y and x, so ito, tsaka ito. Okay, there's a point charge q. Okay. So, lagay ka ng image charge dito para mag-cancel out yung between this guy and this guy para mag-zero out here. And that would mean that you would need a negative q here at the same distance. Negative a nga lang. Pero may kabila na and same height. Okay. So, lagay ka dito ng negative q. Negative q. Okay, that's nice. And then, sa baba naman, para mag-zero out ito, mag-zero out yung point dito sa baba, nalagay ka rin ng negative q. Okay, negative q. However, hindi naman ito itong dalawang to, hindi naman mag-zero out at this point. So, kukontrahin mo pa siya lalo ng kukontrahin mo siya ng another point charge here, but this time this is positive q. Okay? Alright. So, yun. So, naka-words lang sa dito. Hindi naman pinadrawing pala. Tinamad na ako kay drawing. Okay, and then the potential is very easy. The potential is Q over 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 over R. Diba? Ganun lang yung potential mo. So, yung R would be the general distance kung saan sila, kung nasan yung mga charges mo. So, may 4 ka na charges. So, just plug in things out. Okay? So, this is the original charge. Nakapwesto siya sa A at B. Okay? Then, the negative charge na isa would be placed here. Okay? Nasa negative B na siya. But same A. Same A. Tapos, yung positive mo, ito. Nasa negative A at negative B. So, nag-plus siya bigla kasi negative, 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 negative. Okay. And then the last one here, nasa kabilang A naman siya. So, negative A but same height. Okay, dali, di ba? So, yan. Huwag na kayo magpanic, no? Nagpanic kayo doon na simula yung confusion. Okay, so that's the power of method of images. So, this is the potential around this area. Okay? Valid lang for points xy greater than 0. Okay, Laplace equation in spherical coordinates. We've done this in our examples. Sa class natin, ginawa natin to. And then, sundan mo lang yung prescription nung nakalagay sa So, write down the general solution for the potential inside and outside the sphere. Using the continuity of the potential at the surface, solve for BL in terms of AL. Okay. So, inside the sphere, you don't want this guy to blow up. Kasi pag pinlog in mo R is equal to 0, magbo-blow up to. So, you set BL 0 inside the sphere. So, matitira mo lang is this guy, equation 15. Now, gusto mo naman na outside, hindi magbo-blow up as R goes to infinity. So, therefore, you zero out A outside. So, matitira lang is this guy. Alright? Then, sabi niya, using the continuity of the potential at the surface. That would mean that V in and V out must be equal at R is equal to capital R, which is the surface of the spherical shell. Okay? So, if you can see, plug in mapa, equal daw dapat to at R is equal to capital R. Therefore, yung PL, ganun pa rin din. Go bagay lang dyan polynomial. Makita mo na yung constants would be, would give out this equation. Okay, so that is BL in terms of AN. 5 points. Now, using the discontinuity of the derivative of the potential at the surface, then followed by the Fourier trick. Write down the remaining coefficients AL. Now, sundin mo lang to. Okay? Nasa libro naman to na kung paano yung discontinuity, boundary conditions, di ba? The boundary conditions for, wait lang. The boundary conditions for the potential, well, the electric field, di ba? Electric field, kasi derivative ng potential is electric field, is given by sigma over epsilon naught. So you do this, you take the derivative, then plug in R, capital R. Take the derivative, plug in R. So that is equation 20. Okay? Now, simplify mo kasi alam mo si BL, pwede mo siya isulat as AL, di ba? So kapag pinlog in mo na yan, you have this. Then you can simplify the two summations into one. You have this. Factor out mo si PL. Diba? Kasi ito lang matitira. Okay. Then sigma over epsilon. Cancel mo lang yung negative sign. Kasi may negative sign dito, may negative sign dito, may negative sign dito. Okay. So Fourier's trick is that the integral of PL and PL prime times sine theta integrated to d theta from 0 to pi would give you 2 over 2L plus 1 for L equals L prime. Okay? And 0 otherwise. So we have, if we multiply PL prime and sine theta here, then integrate it from 0 to pi. Okay, so multiply on PL sine theta, integrate it to 0 to pi theta. Both sides, multiply lang kung ganun. I obtain this guy. Tapos, magiging lang to 2 over 2L plus 1. And you see that magka-cancel yung 2L plus 1. Okay? So, matitirang 2 times this guy. 2 times this guy, we have this. Okay? L prime, L prime, L prime. Okay. So, everything's in L prime. So, parang dummy variable. Oops, hindi ko napalitan to. So, dapat L to. So, 2 fractions. Okay. Dummy variable na lang yung L prime. So, I can let this as any letter I that I want. So, L na lang para mas madaling isulat. So, you have this. You have this AL. Okay? So, that's your Fourier trick. And we have written down the remaining coefficients AL. Nice. Okay? So, suppose now that sigma, or sigma naught in this case, is cosine squared times k na constant. Let's find all the AL and BL. Now, you can do this, but of course, you can always do the, hindi naman niya sinabi na gamitin mo yung yung Fourier trick, no? So, pwede mo eyeballin. Eyeball lang tayo. Now, to do that, you need to write down your sigma in terms of Legendre polynomial. So, the P2, the second, yung L is equal to 2 na Legendre polynomial would give me this guy. Okay? And we know P0 is just a constant 1. So, we now rewrite K cosine squared as this guy. Okay? Okay. So, multiply lang natin ng mga factors para maging katulad ni K cosine squared. Kasi dito, may mga constant siyang extra. So, kailangan mong mawala yan. Okay? Okay. So, yan. Nasulat mo na ngayon si K cosine squared as this equation 27. Now, looking at equation 21 and 27, what is 21? Is this guy. Okay? So, kunin nyo to. Okay. Ibig sabihin, ang matitira lang sa summation on the left-hand side sa equation 21 would be P2 at P0. Okay? So, I have P0 and P2, and that must be equal to sigma, which is this guy. Okay? Over epsilon naught. Okay, eyeballin mo na lang ngayon. Yung mga P2 dapat mag-equal sila, yung mga P0 dapat mag-equal sila. Okay? Alright. So, A0 must be equal to, tingnan mo dito, 1 over 3 epsilon. Tapos may K. Tapos, ito ay 1 over R. So, lipat mo sa kabila, magiging nasa taas na siya. And so on and so forth. So, si B, paano makuha yan? Meron kang expression for that. Okay? So, B2 would need A2. B0 would need A0. Okay? You have that. Solve for the potential inside the sphere. Okay, you have this. V in would be this guy. And then you just plug in what you know. You have A0 and A2. So this guy, sorry. Add mo lang sila. Then plug in what you know. Okay, pwede na equation 33, no? Pwede nyo nang de-expand yung mga P. Kasi is na nga sila. Pero if you did, okay, then this one. Then similarly, for outside the sphere, the potential would be using the A0 and B0 and B2. Okay, so yan lalabas. Okay. Now, number 6. Parang mamunti lang gumawa ng number 6. Sayang to number 6 kasi bonus to. Bonus to. Tignan nyo, gano'ng kalaki yung points niya. 10 points, tapos 20 points agad. Okay? So, yung tanong ay, ito, this whole thing is the question. Then, you need to explain why we need to use cylindrical coordinate system instead of Cartesian. Show that the integral expression for the potential at any point above the plane is given by this. Okay, what you need to find or what you need to know is that the potential can be written as this. Then from here, you have 10 points. Makukuha mo na 10 points easily, di ba? Okay, so gagawin mo lang, i-reverse engineering mo lang. Okay, tutugmain mo lang itong dalawang to. Tutugmain mo lang yung first term, yung may d-tau integral. Makikita mo naman kung sino may d-tau integral eh. Ito. D-tau integral, di ba? Volume integral to. Then you're given a G, which is this guy. Okay? And then yung matitira na lang is rho. So if you said in your paper, in your work, that rho is this guy, kokopyahin nyo lang, di ba? Matitira. Ngayon na lang yung rho. Okay, may SDS pa dapat dito, di ba? Di ba SDS prime yan? Kasi may phi prime ka. Okay, may S prime pa dapat na extra dyan. So nag-cancel yung S prime. Therefore, you'd see that the charge distribution rho is this guy. Okay? And then, for the second term, since alam mo nga to, pami-mix and match mo lang. Again, you know V naught. Then, may 4 pi ka, tapos 2 pi lang dito, tapos may negative. So, you would see that the derivative of G with respect to n prime, nagbigay ng si Sir Baguno dito ng clue. Ito yung makukuha mo. Okay, which is, ito rin yun, di ba? Nandito lang din. I-reverse nyo nga lang siya. Kung i-reverse nyo siya, nabibigyan ko kayo ng 10 points. Okay? So why do we need to use cylindrical coordinate system? Mas madali kasi may cylindrical symmetry. Okay. 10 points. Now, wala ito dito. Maraming nakita hindi gumawa nitong calculate the potential. This is the easiest thing that you will do in your exam, no? Merong Dirac delta. Okay. Ibig sabihin, I would just let S prime equal to 0. P prime equal to 0. Z prime equal to D. Okay? Pwede na yun, sir, yung cylindrical symmetry na reason. Oo. Kasi yun lang naman yung reason na gagawin mo siya. Gagawin mo siya in cylindrical coordinate system. Actually, hindi nga need eh. Hindi siya necessity. Okay? You can use spherical coordinate system, but things would be easier if you would use cylindrical coordinate system. Okay? Okay, so nakita ko walang gumawa nito. Ito yung pinakamadali, yung 10 points. Okay? So, nalilito ba kayo sa integral with respect to a Dirac delta? So basically, pag may Dirac delta kayo nakita, madali buhay nyo. Okay, kuwari, we have Dirac delta x, f of x, dx, tapos all space, all. Okay? Pag ganyan yung integral nyo, ibig sabihin lang yan, na ipa-plug in nyo si x equals 0. F of 0 yan. Okay? All space, Dirac. Mangyayari, paano to magiging 0? Paano to magiging 0? X equals A. So you plug in F. Okay? Okay. Assuming na basta yung x at 0, nandito siya sa integral bounds. Okay? Pero kung ginawa nito 1 to infinity ng Dirac delta x, f of x dx, this would just be 0. Okay? Kasi yung x at 0, hindi niya madadaanan. Hindi niya madadaanan sa integral bounds. Okay? Okay. So, kayo matakot sa direct delta, ha? Marami pa kayo makikitang ganyan. Okay, so try natin to, no? Para naman ma-experience natin kung paano ba gumamit ng direct delta. Okay, so letter B, calculate the potential at points above the plane along the axis of the circle. So, nasa axis ka ng circle, S is equal to 0. Okay, gawin mo na agad to, S is equal to 0. Para hindi ka na mahirapan. Okay? Ano mangyayari sa atin? Delete ko lang ito. Okay? S equals 0, to wala na to. Wala na rin to. Wala na tong term na to. Wala na tong term na to. Ang dali, di ba? So, in essence, we need to solve this. Sige, lagyan natin. Q over 4 pi epsilon naught, first term. First term, Q over 4 pi epsilon naught. Tapos, tatlong integral. P prime, Z, minus D. Tapos, ano matitira na lang sa'yo? 1 over square root ng, minus 1 over square root ng s prime squared. S prime squared, z minus z prime. Tapos sa kabila, z plus z prime. Z minus z prime squared. Z minus z prime squared ba? Tapos okay. Plus 1 over square root ng s prime squared plus z minus plus z prime squared. Close this guy. And okay. ds prime, dp prime, dz prime. Okay. So we have this, no? Napakadali. Z prime to. Napakadali ng gagawin nyo sa buhay nyo. S prime, lalagay mo sa 0. P prime, lalagay mo sa 0. Then Z prime, lalagay mo sa D. Okay. So walang P prime, okay na. Walang P prime, so okay na yun. Wala kang papalitan dito kasi S prime at Z prime na lang to. So lalagay mo daw si S prime sa 0, then Z prime sa D. Okay? Z prime sa D. So what happens? So magiging Q over 4 pi epsilon naught. This whole thing vanishes. Ang matitira na lang sa'yo would be 1 over Z minus D squared. Diba? S prime 0, tapos plug into yung D dito kasi D yung kailangan mo para mag-0 yung argument nito. Okay, plus this guy. 0 na rin to. D. Plus 1 over square root of Z plus T squared. Easy. Easy first term. Okay, and then you simplify this guy. You know that the square root of a square is the absolute value. So Z minus D, absolute value. The square of square is absolute value. Square root of a square. Z plus T. Okay, have this. So that's the first term. Okay? The second term, what happens? Kailangan mo pa rin ilagay na S is equal to 0, sabi dito. So what's left to us? Okay? S, 0 cancels na ito. Wala na rin to. Matitira na lang S prime squared tsaka Z squared. S prime squared, Z squared. Okay, napakadali nito. U substitution. U is equal to S prime squared, Z squared. Du is 2S prime ds prime. Meron kang S prime sa numerator. Okay? So, madali mo siya mag-solve itong integral na ito. And then d phi, which is wala namang phi related. So, you just have an extra 2 pi factor, which cancels out nicely with your constants outside the integral. Then you do the integral, which of course, parang trivial na ata sa inyo. You have this. Very easy. 10 points agad. Okay? Sayang, yung iba hindi nagsagot nito. Okay? Yan. So, that's it for your exam results.